at that. Silly Diff. He's in the house. Silly Diff shows up, takes over the opening, and here comes the opening titles. All right, we did it. We made it here. It's Mark Miller here. This is my son Campbell. Over there to my left. Campbell, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
It's like, yeah, I have to look this way, which is actually the opposite of where it's set up to make it look like I'm looking in his eyes, and you got to do the same thing.
Yeah.
We decided to do this show because we were like, I kind of wanted to do a show where we focused on kids learning how to write code, and I was looking around and I saw, hey, I got a kid. So that's one of the components I needed. The other thing I needed was, to write some code. So I asked Campbell the other day, I said, hey, do you want to write some, you want to do a show? And, what'd you say, Campbell?
I said, sure.
Campbell said, sure. So that's pretty much, Campbell's pretty much easy going. Would you say that describes you pretty correctly?
Yeah.
Pretty accurately? Excellent. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Let's kind of get right into it. And I thought what we would do is maybe show a little bit from Campbell's machine. Just going to show you, just kind of give you a little bit of a setup. This is a little bit about what we've been working on this week in preparation for the show. And this is Unity we're looking at right here. There's some coins around the screen right there. Those are not part of Unity. Those are actually part of this screen. By the way, when we're showing you Campbell's machine, it's going to say Campbell's machine right up there. And this is it. So, Campbell, how would you describe this, what we're looking at right here? Can you tell us a little bit about what this is?
This is the first game that we made, and basically when you hit play or Control P, you start going forward, and then blocks will appear, and you have to try to not hit them. But if you do hit them, they'll go they'll basically lose their gravity. And they'll start floating up.
Something will happen when we hit them, and there was something else that happened when we jumped. You remember that?
Oh yeah, when we jump, the color of this cube, which is you, and the floor change color from blue to red, or red to blue.
Yeah, so we played around in that space. So we're going to do the same thing. You don't have to worry about anything on here right now. We're going to do essentially something similar, but different as well. This is kind of like when I was talking to Campbell, I was saying, well, let's do something completely new and different. And by the way, if you're looking at my machine, it looks like this. So it'll say Mark's machine right up there, and that's how you know whose machine you're on. Cody Gorilla just got in. Look out, Campbell, it's Cody Gorilla right over there. Here comes some code from Cody Gorilla. Yay! Cody Gorilla is here. By the way, Campbell, Cody Gorilla has saved me so many times on the show. You should be now totally relaxed that he's out there in the audience. So let's do a couple things. And Retro CRT is here. Retro CRT is in the audience. Campbell, you know that I make fanfares for folks that show up all the time, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what's happening now is we got the folks showing up right now. I'm going to start up an instance of a browser, and I'm going to come up in here and I'm going to do a search for Unity right now. Unity and maybe the word download. Look out, Campbell. This is pudding. This is not. Look out. I said look out, Campbell. Oh. Yummy pudding, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, Pudding, good to see you. We'll go back. I'll hit this button with Mark's machine right up there. Low. Come on, Pudding. It's scary, but it's okay. All right, so I'm going to look for Unity download up here. I've typed this up into the browser, and I'm just going to put right here, unity3d.com, download Unity. So on my machine, I'm going to download it, just show you what that experience is like to get that installed. I'm also going to, I don't know if I'm going to actually download Visual Studio, but those are the two tools you want to look at. So let's start up here with download, choose your Unity and download. Let's try that. And I got some options here. I'm going to click on individual here because I did not bring $1,800 to the show today, but I did bring free to the show. And we can select student or personal, either one right here. So you can pick either one. I've got a sign up option or a get started. What are my choices here? Let's try this.
I think they're both the same.
First time users, download Unity. Returning users already have experience. Want to download the standard Unity installer instead? We'll try this one right here, the guided learning tab.
Here.
So we're going to choose start here. Yep, we understand. These are the limitations of the personal or the student plan, which basically says, look, if you make $99,000 with your game, you don't have to, it's okay. But if you make more than $100,000 each year, then you have to choose a different version of Unity. That's what that's saying there. Okay, I'm just gonna say agree and download. And we'll put this over here, Unity setup there. And it's downloading it. 3 seconds left, 1 second left. And now I'm going to start the install. Okay. Thank you so much. We'll drop the music volume down right there. All right. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? I'm going to say yes. And here's my license agreement. And we'll go ahead and install it there.
Right now we only see, or at least I only see the first time users.
You're perfect, Campbell. Good job saving me. It was on the wrong monitor. That's what I was looking at right there. So I went through and I clicked on the license agreement. Perfect, Campbell. If that ever happens again, let me know. And then we'll go ahead and say finish. And we'll run that up. Is it better, Karen? Sound better? Okay,
yeah,
good.
A lot of
Check. There were a lot of fanfares today, weren't there? All right, Windows Firewall has blocked some features of the Unity Hub. I'm going to say allow access on my private network. And I've got this right here. Downloading and installing requires 9.3 gigabytes of disk space, so it is going to take a lot of space.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, I'm good to go on that, right? So I can do that. We'll go ahead and install it now. And again, do you want to allow this to make changes to your device? Create a Unity ID. Well, let's see. What do I want to do here? I'm not going to click this box. I've read and agreed to the Unity Terms of Service. Yes. I'm going to maybe say I already have a Unity ID is what I'm going to do. Or maybe should I sign in with that? Sign in with your Unity ID. Oh, I'd love to be able to skip this right now. Let me drag this to another monitor right here. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to switch over to Campbell's machine. And Campbell, while I get past the sign up on this, will you kind of tell people a little bit about what you've learned so far this week about this? And it's okay to, not be, the only right answer is whatever you say, right? You're going to say no matter what, right? Because it's whatever you remember, whatever you recall, right? And also maybe say, how much time did we spend this week kind of getting into this, would you say?
I would say we worked on it for about like once a day, maybe.
Once a day for about
maybe an hour or more.
Maybe an hour or more. So that's kind of our introduction to Unity, and we're kind of looking around in it.
And what I've learned in Unity is that right here, all of these items are in the hierarchy. And if you want to add an object or anything, you can click here, create empty child, and then 3D object, and then cube, sphere, capsule. A capsule it's a pretty cool shape.
You want to drop one down and show people?
Sure. This is what a capsule looks like.
That's cool. And so show me what's the difference between this window here that says scene up above it and the window that says game up above it? What are the differences there?
With scene, you can kind of move around with it and kind of just move and see it from a different perspective. But from game view, it's always from the perspective of the camera.
The game
which
camera.
is-
All right, I'm going to switch back over to my machine. I've made it past the sign-in page, and it's now saying, here's my updates and here's what's new. I'm going to click on accept right here to get past that. He's like young Rory is what Surly Deb is saying. They're saying you're like young Rory, Campbell. Select a microgame. Enter name and select a microgame for your first project. I'm going to choose an empty 3D. That's what I'm going to do. Although these sound really fun, we might come back and do these later. And the project name, we'll call it My First Game. Almost there. And so it's downloading. Let's switch back over to your
34%.
machine, Campbell. And so what is that thing up in the upper right corner of the scene? See that thing with the red and the green and the blue?
This.
Yeah, what have you
this
learned
is
about
what
that?
perspective you have. I saw it. I saw this right here, and I thought, what does that do? So I started clicking.
Uh-oh. Just came in. Also known as Mom. Look out, Campbell. There's zombies right in front of you, man. Look out, Campbell. Okay, that was a close one. All right. Rick Plaza, also known as Campbell's mom, is in the house. All right. Okay, what is this thing? Tell me about this thing up here with these kind of cones on it. Look like ice cream cones.
So yeah, I saw this and I was like, what does this do? So I started clicking buttons, and then I saw this thing. Wait, right, oopsies. Right here it says perspective, persp, and so and then when I clicked it, it changed my point of view. So I was like, oh, that's probably like where you're viewing it from.
That's kind of cool. Can you interact with that in any other way with the mouse? Can you like click and drag those at all?
Probably I can. This selects things.
No, but I'm thinking about just like, can you click on one of those things that stick out, the Z or the X, and drag it at all and move it, or no? It's just a clickable button. Is that right?
It's just
so
a clickable
it's clickable,
button.
no drag. Okay, and what about clicking on the box? Does that do anything?
Oh yeah, the box, it makes it kind of, I guess, a little more 2D. No, wait, that's not it.
Is it orthogonal to the object you're selecting, maybe? I wonder.
Oh, that's probably it.
I wonder if that's doing it, if it's moving the camera. Interesting. Okay, and so you can see your game in there on the left, and you play the game in the right. What about the rest of this? So we've seen the hierarchy on the left that you showed.
So this is the project. These are your materials, your scripts, and what are these are our physics.
So these are like the different pieces of. These are like things that I can reuse, I guess. Is that like fair to say?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so so that, and then how is this different from the list in the upper left? Do we have a sense of that yet? Do we know that yet, or is that something we're gonna
Wait,
maybe
the
learn?
inspector, you mean?
How does the hierarchy, not the upper right, the upper left? So how does the hierarchy? How is that different from the assets? Because they both seem like they're like your ingredients a little bit to me, right? In a game, I've got a camera and I've got a floor maybe and a player.
I would say that these are the things that are in the game, and these are the things that you can apply to these objects. Like this script, any of these scripts you can put here, or you can drag a material and make it like a different color.
Yeah.
Or a physics material and make it like have no friction.
Yeah,
No friction.
it kind of seems like these are like spices. And those are the major ingredients up there if you were thinking about a recipe in the hierarchy. So I can throw some salt or some pepper on like different ingredients, right? I can reuse these. I can put player blue on more than just the player, couldn't I?
Yep.
Could I drag player blue onto the floor, for example, and
Yeah.
make that change color? Did you just do it that easily?
Yeah.
Or no? Okay, that's super cool. And have you released the mouse yet on that?
Huh?
So it changed, but then as soon as you move the mouse away, it didn't. Is that because you didn't release the mouse button?
Yeah, if you release the mouse, then it stays like that.
Okay, so that's kind of cool, right? If you drag something over an object, it can take on these asset properties, whatever they are.
And one of the other cool things is with these materials, it's not just color, it's transparency. Yeah.
It's all kinds of properties over here. All right, now we got something over here in the inspector. Tell me about the inspector, Campbell. What's your thoughts on this after spending about a week with it?
This, I think it tells you like more about whatever you've clicked in the hierarchy or one of these materials.
Okay. And it allows you to see the values, and does it allow you to change the values as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
All right.
You can like change its position, its rotation, its scale. You can make it invisible. Oh, wait, that's not there. I'll do it on the caps. You can make it invisible, or you won't see it. And
Okay. So we've got different things, and I've noticed also that inside of the inspector, there are kind of headings that appear to be in bold and in kind of brighter color, like mesh renderer and capsule and transform. See that up there at the top? See the word transform?
This is basically like what's these are things like its position, rotation, and scale. It's kind of the physical materials, like properties of the of whatever object you have. So if you do this, like here, you can change its position to further away.
Okay. That's cool. What's that triangle on the left of the word transform? That downward pointing triangle right there. To the left of transform. See that downward pointing triangle, kind of a light gray? Yeah, what's that?
You can, if you click it once and it's fit. It allows you to see the details of its transform, like its position, rotation.
All right, so
but if you click it again, you won't see them.
Okay, so if we open up transform, we see position, rotation, and scale. And for each one of those, we have X, Y, and Z elements.
Yes.
Right? And let's look at mesh render. What's happening with mesh render? Mesh render is kind of interesting because I just realized it's got, see the word materials?
Yeah.
It's got one of those triangles next to it as well. So if we click on that materials triangle, that's going to close down. I see.
Yeah. Mesh render is basically like what draws the object, or puts the object on your screen.
Okay, so it's in charge of the drawing.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, look, it's got a receive shadows button. Do we have what is selected right now? We have the capsule?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
all right.
we're on the capsule.
I was just thinking, but it's got no shadows on it, so it's not, it's got its own shadow, but not shadows on it, I think.
And
So,
then you can also make it so that it doesn't cast
oh,
shadows.
look what changed. Did you see what changed in the game view? The shadow right underneath it. It's right above my head right there. Wait, what happened?
Oopsies. Oops. On.
Oh, shadows only. That's kind of cool. If you want an object to create just a shadow.
If you undo mesh render, you don't see the shadow. But if you shadows only, you can only see the shadow. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. You could create a game that was only like a game of shadows almost, if you wanted to, where you had 3D objects, but the shadows were what you were battling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Can we, let me do this. Let's go, I just want to bring it back to my machine for a minute, and then when we're done, let's create a new game on your machine. So get ready to start a new game, okay?
I already did.
Okay. You're already ready?
Yep.
That was that fast?
No, I made this game before we started the show.
But did you close the other one and switch to it that quickly, or did you have 2 instances up?
I have 2 instances.
Oh, I see. Okay, I can see there. All right, cool. So give me a second. I just want to show the rest of the install here. So now we've got a Launch Unity button here. And the other piece that I need to get for this is Visual Studio.
Oh.
Like that. I've got another one of these security alerts right here. I'm going to go ahead and enable it with the Unity Editor. And let's go switch back over to Mark's machine. Here we go. Download Visual Studio 2019 for Windows and Mac. Community is the edition you want, but I'm going to click here. And there it is right there. So this is the free version of Visual Studio. That's what you want to get there. We'll start that download. And we'll go ahead and put that there. There's the VS Community is downloading. And we'll go ahead and start that installed too. I may not go all the way. I already have Visual Studio installed on my machine, so I may just take it a few steps through to show you what this is like. And then we'll switch it back over to Campbell, and Campbell will show us how to create a new project. So you've created a new project. Can you actually take us through the steps of creating that new project,
Yeah.
Campbell?
Here, if you go to Unity Hub, it's loading right now. That's the white one with the black cube in it. If you click new and then you just click this, right then.
That's the version of Unity, I guess.
Yeah, and then you can choose 2D.
All right.
I'm not quite sure what these are, but the other ones.
All right, so we got 2D and 3D, and oh, there's some of those other things.
Yeah.
So we have not explored any of that other than 3D.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try 3D.
And then if you click create, or you can also change the name of it.
All right, is our game done? Can we ship it? Did we
Ship
finish?
what?
No bugs. No bugs. We have no bugs in it, Campbell.
What?
We have no bugs in our game.
No bugs in our game.
Yeah. All right. So now it's creating a new game, a second new game. You've already got one behind, but you're now going through the new process of creating a second.
Miles, let's ship it!
Let's ship it. That's right. All right. There's Campbell's machine right there. By the way, on my machine, take a look up here. We're now at this stage in the Visual Studio install. You really want to get, where is it down here? Game development with Unity. That's super important.
Oh yeah.
You want to get that one, and I think there's like I'm a fan of this too, the desktop development with .NET, but you can choose whether you want that or not. I think you don't need that. I think the main one you need is just this one right here. Okay, there are some other options, and then you click on install. I'm going to not click that because, like I say, I've already got it installed, but that's what you want right there.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Campbell.
Still initializing. Nope.
Still going.
And then
So does it normally take this long, Campbell, when you create a new Unity game? Is that
yeah,
true?
it normally takes a little bit.
Interesting.
And if you want to with Visual Studio, there are some extensions like Code Rush, which makes it a lot easier.
A lot easier. You had some experience with Code Rush this week. That's one of the products that I work on, and I was showing Campbell how to both write code but also do it with Code Rush right here.
Uh-oh.
What's this?
There's an error.
Proxy or firewall. Try to retry on that. We've seen this before, haven't we? And we try to retry.
Yeah.
See if that works. And the good news is if it doesn't work, you've already got the new game you've created in the background, right? Just wanted to show people. Here we go. Do you want to upgrade the project to use Asset Database version 2? I would say yes. It says version 1 is deprecated. That means older. Not really used anymore. So we'll do version 2.
Starting
Sex Positive
server.
says shameless plug out there. It's going to get more shameless at some point because we're going to be writing code and also teach them early. Also, we're going to give a free copy away of Code Rush to anybody out there who needs one to work in Visual Studio, and we'll show you how it can help you write code faster. So, so yeah, that's something we're going to do. All right, that's starting up the server.
Oh my god, I just got the name.
You got the name?
You get to code in a rush.
You get to code in a rush. All right, let's try a quit here.
Yeah.
And we'll
We
go
can
back
just
to the
work
game
with
that
this
you've
one.
already got created. And up in the hierarchy, I noticed there are not as many items as there were before.
Yes, because in your first game, it should look a lot like this. And there's main camera and directional light. The main camera is what you see, what perspective you see the game from, and the light is exactly what it sounds like. It's where the light is. So
Can you click on each of those right there? And does anything change in the scene when we do that?
yeah. Then you can move these.
Oh, to kind of move it around. And is that green or yellow? It looks like it might be green. And does that
Yeah.
correspond to the green? It's yellow when you move it.
Yeah, it's yellow. All of them are yellow when you move it. But
Okay,
yes,
interesting.
This green does correspond with this.
So that's the Y, is that right?
Yeah, and then yeah, that's
It doesn't
why.
quite look like it's lined up the way I would expect
That's
that to
because
be.
it's the light. I don't know why, but the light doesn't do that. But with this is the Y.
Oh wait, I wonder if it's because it's rotated. Do you think that might be the case? Go click on, see, look at main camera, and if we look at the transform, look at the rotation of main camera. The
Oh.
transform is all zeros. Do you see that?
Yeah, with rotation, but this one is rotated. Because
Oh yeah,
it's
look at
light.
that. I bet if you
And
turn that 50 and then -30 to zeros, the light will maybe go sideways. I don't know.
It will align, but then it will only be shining forward. And the reason it's rotated in Unity is because if it was normal, like you said, if it was all zeros,
Oh,
see?
wow. The whole scene changed. Look at that. Change the Y as well. See what happens.
to 0. That doesn't do much.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
now look, it's only going that way.
Okay, now wait. Before you change those back, there's something that looks like a rotation tool in the upper left.
Oh yeah, there's all of these are really cool. They're a lot. They're kind of like these. So this, it rotates it. And
Now,
you can,
so while you rotate it, I want to see the light rotating. And look at what happens. I love that. Look at that. Oh, there's the sun. Oh my gosh,
Oh.
you're directing the sun.
What? I didn't know it was the sun. I thought this was the light.
Well, it's a light, but
Oh, it's the direction of the light.
it's a
'cause
directional light. I bet you can put 2 suns on this planet if you wanted to. Oh, you just put it behind under the surface of the horizon. That's kind of cool. And so look up there at the rotational values. As Campbell moves that around, they're
changing.
updated automatically. And I noticed there are different rings around the edge there.
Oh yeah.
You can just click
So
those
this
rings
is,
and drag them.
This is Z. It changes it like this. And then this is X. It changes it in the X direction.
Oh wow, that's kind of cool. I like that lighting. That's super cool.
And then there's the Y.
I love
which
it.
changes it in the Y direction.
And if we want to reset it, we can just go back up there and type in 000 for
Yeah.
those rotational
Or
values if we want
I think it was 15, -30.
Right, something like that.
Yeah.
The chat room is Sex Positive says, this is like Sex Positive, who's also Campbell's mom, is saying, seriously, this kid is so cute and clearly well parented. And then Surly Deb is, a credit to you, Sex Positive. Followed by, well, mostly you. Followed by, but I'm sure that other guy had some influence. Your mom is like, true story, friend, true story. All right, so that's cool. Your mom is like, this is your mom. I take all the credit for the mathematical and programming genius. Okay. That means you left with your comedy for me, son. That's not good. Your comedy skills, you got them all for me. All right, so that was really cool. So what about the main camera? So I assume with the main camera, we could rotate it similarly, right?
Yeah, we could rotate it.
And this is the view right above my finger is the view of what the main camera is seeing. Is that right?
Yeah.
So if you rotate that, I want to see if the view changes, I guess is what I'm saying.
I don't think so. Oh wait, well I would just face it up.
If you rotate it around, it'll probably be the same, but if you rotate it up or sideways,
Whoa.
there we go. That's kind of cool. All right. And you have the ability to undo here, right? If you hit Control Z, look, it went back to 0 right up there. It had changed and it went back to 0.
You can do that and then Control Z.
There it is again. All right, cool. So this is cool. So we know one tool on the toolbar, which is the rotational tool.
And then
And
this
we know,
one
and we know that Control Z undoes.
is the scale. Oh wait, you can't really scale with the camera, but
Okay, so should we maybe drop something on that we can scale? Does that make sense?
sure.
I'm also interested in that button to the left of the rotational button too.
Oh, this
No, left,
wait.
left, other way, there, right there.
this moves it.
That's the move.
So yeah, you can move the
And wait,
camera.
what's changing in the transform?
The position.
The top line, the position, the Z, he's now grabbing the Z to move it.
And then this is really cool. If you've rotated it beyond, like, if you want to revert the transform back to it where it was originally, you can just click these 3 dots and then reset, and then it will go to its position.
Can I do that on just for position at all? If I just wanted to revert only the position and not the others? Is there like a right click on position or something like that? Maybe not there, but could I right click the word position at all? Does anything happen there?
No.
Okay. That's okay. We're just exploring the interface to see what's available. I do like that reset though. That's very cool. Now I can undo, but with Control Z, right?
Yeah.
So if you undo now, should we see those? Are we expecting those to change?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oop.
Now, I'm not sure what happened.
I accidentally.
Okay. So we can undo to go backwards through time, through our changes that we made in time. Can we redo? Have you ever tried that?
I don't
Go
know.
backwards?
I don't know what the
with the
keyboard
keyword B.
shortcut.
Try Control Shift Z.
I
Sometimes
was
that
thinking,
works.
but no. That
Nothing.
didn't work.
Try Control Y. Sometimes that works.
Ugh.
Did Control Y change that?
Y. Yeah.
Control Y worked. So Control Z is undo, and Control. So now hit Control Z, and then Control Y goes forward. Right? Just keeping my eye up there. Okay, cool. So now we can go backwards in time, and then maybe go forwards in time if we want to through
Yeah.
changes.
That's cool.
Your mom just added that that in addition to taking credit for the mathematical and programming genius, she also takes credit for your cute, which is fair. Fair. That's silly first statement. Not only, you know.
I feel like I get it from both of you.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even recognize cute. People like show me pictures of babies and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, all right, it's cute. What else? We want to drop an object on here,
Yes.
right? Let's get something on here. Let's drop a 3D object. What do you want to pick?
Let's do cube.
Okay. I noticed there was a ragdoll in there too. By the way, did you notice that?
There's a lot of stuff here. And there's like a ragdoll, a terrain, a tree.
What's
What's
a-
a tree? Oh, and then a ragdoll. I kind of
Wait,
want to
oh, it's importing the tree.
It's a tree.
That's kind of a bare tree. Campbell is 9 a.m. is asking how old kids is Campbell? How old is Campbell? And Campbell is. Do you want to say it, Campbell?
I'm 10.
10 years old. He's a decade. He's been on this, but he's a wise 10-year-old. That's interesting. So we dropped a tree in there. Oh, and we're deleting it.
Oh,
So notice
should
when
we?
he dropped the tree. Oh wow, we got a tree texture folder, I think, as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. All right. Well, we've never dropped a tree on here.
No, we haven't.
Okay, we've got in our, so that it gave us these assets down here, but in our main hierarchy, looks like the tree is gone. Did you
Yeah,
delete that?
I deleted it, but we can probably drag.
That's all right.
Yeah, and then
Oh, okay, cool. All right, let's play a little bit. Can we drop a ragdoll? I want to see what happens when
Yeah.
we drop a ragdoll on here.
ragdoll. Whoa.
Oh my gosh. This is a little bit, can you move this at all? Can you drag this window a little bit more towards the middle of the screen?
Oh my God. Wait, it's.
Drag
it's
this to
an
the middle
actual-
so people can see this because
Oh,
the coins
okay,
and stuff.
sorry.
There we go. All right, here we go. Drag all the bones from the hierarchy into their slots.
That's cool.
So it looks like we need to have something else to drag into here.
We have to have a lot of stuff.
Maybe a skeleton or something like that, and we drag the parts into here. That's
That's
kind of
cool.
interesting.
I wonder if we could like.
9
Drag
a.m.
the tree
says,
in.
Campbell, 10. Fantastic. You're going to be a pro by age 20. That's cool. All right. Let's close this down. This looks like a little more than I want to do
Yeah,
today,
it's
but
a lot.
kind of interesting. Can we delete that tree, or do you want to keep it? We can keep the tree if you want.
We can just.
I wonder if the tree blows in the wind. I wonder what is special about it, because it looks kind of like not a very special
twig.
tree to me right now.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you can like specify I wonder if it's like fractally generated. You can specify like an equation to generate it. Oh my gosh, what's going on
Wait,
there?
you can make it have leaves? No, you can't.
I bet you can. I bet there's some way to do it. Tree root node, tree.
Branch.
Oh, look at
group.
this. Tree seed, area spread. Look down below.
Oh,
Okay, group seed. Now, when you see the word seed, that's like a random kind of selector. When you see that, so
yeah.
notice how it's kind of changing. It's kind of picking different kinds of random kinds of
Oh,
things.
so you could make it so that it does blow in the wind by making like in code make group seed.
Oh, I see what you're
plus,
suggesting.
Maybe,
Maybe,
group
but
seed is
there,
equal to group seed plus 1.
there may be,
something like that.
yes, but there may also be, but this is not so much blowing, it's just snapping to and picking
That's
different
true.
ones. What's frequency do? Oh, look at that.
You can make a bunch of trees.
All right. What about distribution?
Wait, random. Oh, I'm not quite sure what the
Do twirl.
twirl
I feel like we're missing
something.
like branches. So down below you've got branch material. This is very interesting. I think the twirl would take effect if we had like actual branches coming off of
That's
it.
probably true.
So geometry with branch material, it says none. I bet we can grab, like, can we create a new material and drag it over to the branches? And I wonder if branches will
Yeah.
suddenly show up. There is by the way, open up tree texture over there. I noticed it give you that folder. Or do you want to just create a new material?
Oh.
All right. Don't hit enter. Don't click on it yet. Just hover the mouse over the word material. All right. So Campbell, did you right click? How did you get the create menu to show up?
You just hover over create and then.
No, I mean, how do you get the main menu to show up?
Oh, okay. Sorry. You right click on project.
Okay.
And then hover over
Create. And then material. And so when we show something for the first time, Campbell, let's do this, what we just did.
Okay.
Okay? So we're creating a material, and that's going to show up in our assets.
There's a lot of stuff here, though. There's like, we've only used, I think, material, C# script, and physics material.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even know we did that one, or you must have explored that on your own.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've only looked at 2 out of all of these. But our goal on this show is to learn how to code in Unity and to ultimately be good about it, to create it, good at it. So Surly Deb says, to all you kids who are wondering if you're too young to get into tech, Campbell is 10. He says, also, look at this tweet. Back in May, among the lineup of our speakers was a 10-year-old boy named Josh Lowe. Yeah. I like it when young kids speak, by the way, at conferences. It's super interesting perspective, by the way. I like that. Oops, sorry, I hit the link and I didn't switch to my machine. Let me practice being a good host and show you. This is it right here. There's the young kid giving a presentation in front of everybody. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Raspberry.
All right, back over to Campbell. All right, so let's create a new material. We're just exploring right now. We're gonna grab that material, give it some sort of color, I bet. There's Campbell with the color. Drag that down. In the upper left, it's a little hard to see some of this stuff because the coin's overlapping it, Campbell. Can you drag that window down a little bit?
Yeah.
Every time a window snaps up there, just bring it down a little bit so people can see it.
And then you can change this color. And then what I like to get material onto whatever I want to.
Actually, here, I'm not thinking the tree. I'm thinking select the tree. Remember that it had those in the inspector? Right here. See right there, branch material and break material? I don't know what the break is, but see right there? Try dragging that new material into the branch material.
Okay.
And see what happens. And who knows whether it'll work or not. Material does not use a tree shader.
Oh, we have
Tree shader has to contain the word leaves or bark. Okay, so let's try this. Wait, don't do that. See the tree textures? Open up tree textures. Can you open it? I think double clicking would open it.
Diffuse. Shadow.
I'm not sure this is correct or not. If you want as a last kind of thing, let's grab the normal one, the green one, and drag.
No, not what I wanted.
I lost your screen. Are you?
Oh.
There we go.
Okay. Normal.
But select the tree. You've got to select the tree in the hierarchy.
Oh, and then now we can change the color.
Oh, it changed the tree color. I didn't notice that. Well, wait, it changed it here, but it hasn't changed it in the game.
That's weird.
All right, let's go back. Let's get out of here. And let's work our way up. Interesting. So we explored a tree. We're not experts. We haven't learned anything on it really yet.
Oh, wait, look. We
What?
can move each part separately of the tree.
Oh, interesting. Kind of shape it a little bit. All right. Still, it's kind of a funky looking tree. I bet there's knowledge that we can obtain, Campbell, that would make us really good at building trees. For now, though, we've got a cube. What are we going to do, Campbell? What do you want to do for our game? What are we going to make?
Wait, we're making. Oh, sorry. For now, we're gonna do a fixed track length, and then
You want to create a track,
yeah.
and you want to have like a race car or something on the track. We're going to be. Is
Sure.
that what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's create a track. How do we create a track? Wait, what's going on?
Oopsies.
You dropped a cube on, and then I saw it change.
Yes.
What are
yeah.
you doing?
If we want it to be a track,
Right up there. You've got you're changing the Z is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And what are you changing the Z to?
To 1,000. So that
1,000,
it's a longer
okay.
track.
Oh wow, that made it really long.
And then you have to change the position Z to. Wait 1 second.
The main camera looked like it wasn't reset. I'm wondering if you want to reset the.
Oh, it wasn't reset.
Are you just looking at the camera? So you're clicking on the. Tell me what you're doing here. All right, you reset the camera, and why are you looking at the camera? I want to know what's in your mind. What are you thinking?
Because I want to put the track, and I want it to start.
At the camera?
Yeah.
Or in front of it?
Yeah, like right in front of the camera.
Okay, so that means you're going to change what? Which of those 3 properties? Position, rotation, or scale?
Or position. Sorry.
Okay, and so you've got your specifically the Z is what it looks like you're trying to change.
Oopsies.
Well, no, you're in the Y actually. It looks like
Yeah, I changed the Z. But
to
now-
-7.
Oopsies.
So it doesn't look like the track's starting at the camera.
Oh,
though.
because I have to. Sorry, I got it wrong because the track, its position
Yeah.
is the position of the middle of the track.
Ah, so you've got to move the middle out so that the end of this 1,000 unit long piece is right in front of the camera. So that means, okay, you've cut it in half. You've taken your 1,000 from your scale and cut it in half and made that your position.
Yes.
500. And so is the camera still in the right place? Where's the camera? How come I'm looking up here in the game and I'm not seeing?
Yeah, me too.
So go click on the camera. Let's solve that problem and just figure out why we can't see. Oh, now we can. Oh, now we can. So your Y, I guess you have to be above it a little bit.
6. I think it has to be like a -1, maybe.
All right, that seems to work.
0.6. That's good. And then a little bit to the side.
Now let me show you something I learned that I thought was kind of cool. If you click on, go ahead and change this, finish this change. Campbell, if you click on, oh yeah, that's perfect. Look at that, you're right centered in there. You might go up a little bit more. So negative values there, make it go, negative values there on Y. By the way, can you click and drag on the Y to change its value? The letter Y right up here in position.
Oh,
can you
yeah.
click and drag on those?
You click this and then you can make it.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So it looks like negative values. Is that right? Is that negative values? The more it gets further, the further away from 0 it gets, the higher it gets. Is that right?
Yes.
And I wonder, is that well, no, that looks okay, I guess. I was wondering if that's always the case, but because I would think that for Y we'd want it to get bigger to go higher up. And I'm wondering, have we flipped our view on the world? Are we upside down or something?
No.
I don't know. Okay, so that's kind of a nice view. That's our track. How wide is this thing? How wide is our track?
Oh, it's 1.
Is that what you want? Do you want it to be 1 wide, or what are you thinking?
I feel like we should make it a little big. Oh no, not that big. Maybe like a 3.
3? So 3 normal
Or
cubes
2.
could fit across it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there we've got that. Now that's our floor. Is that
Yes.
right? All right. Now what do we want to do next?
We should probably rename it.
Oh, wait, what just happened? I noticed
Oh.
the view shifted in scene.
Sorry, I double clicked it, which should zoom in on it.
And I think there's also the F key I was going to say. If you have something selected there and you hit the letter F,
Yeah.
yeah, move it off to the side and hit the letter F. It kind of centers it in the view, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And can you... Okay. Eloise asks, can I get on from here? And I think if you're asking, can I start from the middle and learn what we're doing? The answer is essentially yes. I will tell you that I've downloaded Unity already, and I also downloaded Visual Studio already. And I have both of those that I've installed here so far. So, and we've created Ellie. Okay, great, Ellie. Or is it Eli? It's probably Eli, isn't it?
Oh, this is sorry.
Yeah, so Eli, yes. Yes. You can join the call. Well, we don't have a call that we're joining, so this is just a stream that's coming out to you here. But yes, you can join certainly from this point in it. All right, go ahead, Campbell. Back to your screen. So, what's going on?
Yep. Sorry. I'm just trying to get back to where the main camera is.
So if you click on main camera, try clicking on main camera and hitting the letter F. Is that going to take you where you want to be?
Wait, I have to be on.
And then hit the letter F.
No,
Does that work?
I think, but if we double click it.
Oh, double clicking does seem to work. All right, so there's your main camera. Is that what you were trying to do? Get the
Yeah,
this
that
view?
was what I was trying to do.
Okay. And what do you want to do next? Uh-oh, look who's coming. It's Michael Jolly.
Jolly is in the house.
Also known as Bald Bearded Builder. Oh, Bald Bearded Builder, welcome.
I think we should.
Bald Bearded Builder is, I think, a big fan of you, Campbell, already, because he says in your defense, he says, I want to learn how to code. Dad says, oh, good, I'll throw you right into the belly of the beast with Unity.
Okay. We should probably drop a player down there.
Okay, player. And so I don't see player here. There's
No.
nothing that says player. So
Sorry.
how do we do that?
Something that you can control through the game. You
Okay.
could do a cube, or you could even do a sphere or a capsule.
All right.
I think lots of these would work.
What would you like? Maybe not wind zone though.
No.
I'm thinking because we
Or
know nothing about
ragdoll.
it. Yeah, I feel like as we get further down this list, it maybe requires more skill.
3D text works, I guess, kind of.
Oh, that's kind of fun. All right, what would you like to do?
Let's do a capsule.
Okay, so capsule is going to be our player, and then look at put it right there. The reason I think it's putting it right there, look up there in the transform. Its position is 0, 0, 0.
Yes.
Right?
Which is right where the camera is.
Yeah.
So we should.
Do you think I can join from the chat box? You're right there, Eli. You're totally in and watching. So you're watching on Twitch, and there's no joining other than just watching right now, unless you were to call in here at our house on a Skype call, and then somehow we put your video up here like that. But that's not what we're going to do today, Eli. But maybe in the future we might do that. Okay, what's next? By the way, Campbell, you want to say hi to Eli?
Hi.
Hi, Eli.
Hello.
Glad you're with us. All right, so what's going on now? What are you doing with this? You're moving. This is our player, and you're moving our player.
Yes.
Okay. Can we play the game?
If you play the game, nothing's gonna happen
Why?
because we haven't written any code to control this player.
Okay, so we need to put some code in. By the way, Campbell's machine is not a high-end developer machine. It's actually kind of an entry-level machine that he has.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit slow. When he hits play, it's about a 6-second delay. Is that
And
right?
then, look.
Are we
No.
playing now?
Yes. When this box, when right here is blue,
Yeah.
it starts.
So the game means it's running,
Yes.
and it looks like everything got a little darker, and then when you hit it again, it went lighter. And now
Yes.
we're not playing now.
And also, if you do start playing,
Mm-hmm.
stop playing if you want to make any changes. Because if you make changes while you're playing, once you stop playing, all of those changes will go away.
All right, let's at that point, let's make it again later, because I've seen this. This is a good way to think you're making changes to the game and actually not. Eli asks, is this going to be a platforming game, Campbell?
What is a platforming game?
Platforming game is where you're kind of jumping from platform to platform kind of thing.
If we want it to be, sure.
If you want it to be, Eli, we can do it. All right, do this. I want to see this thing drop. Can you raise it up and then play the game and see will it drop and fall?
No, because we haven't assigned a rigid body to it. Which a rigid body is it gives it gravity, I think.
All right, well, let's try that. Let's see.
Gives it
We know that it needs something, and it might need a rigid body.
yes.
So let's see what happens. So you're clicking on Add Component.
You have to select the thing that you want for that you want to add the rigid body to.
So when you say select the thing you want, you mean select
In the
capsule or the cube from the hierarchy up over there.
Yes.
So select that first, then click on Add Component, then click
Rigid, and then you can search up here rigid body, and then it should show up right here.
Okay. And is that enough? I've got a use gravity button right there.
Yes.
That kind of looks cool.
Which I think we do want, because we want it to fall, correct?
Okay, yeah, let's see what happens.
1 second.
Waiting for it to kind of build the game and have it go. And it falls.
It falls.
Now we're connected. Right now our connection is a little bit slow between Campbell's machine and mine. So it just kind of dropped. But did you see that drop more smoothly, Campbell?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
A little bit.
Okay. Cool. What if we turn off use gravity and we run the game?
It will just float there and maybe float away.
And then what if while we're running the game, wait till the game is running. So we're waiting for that to turn blue up there, right?
Yes.
That play button will turn blue once we're running. There, we're running. Now, what if we turned it on? It drops.
Yes.
Now, what if we were to stop playing? Would use gravity still be checked?
No, it would stop being checked. See? Right here?
Because it was a change made while we were playing and not while we were designing. So that allows while you're playing to make a lot of changes that are not going to be permanent. It's kind of like a play space right here.
Oopsies.
Yeah. Surly Eli, I think, is a friend of Campbell's.
Yes.
I think that's how he found it. Okay. What are we going to do next? So we've got a rigid body. Is it using gravity now? Did we change that back
Yeah,
to yes, to true?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Now what do we want to do? Do we want to make it move?
Yeah.
Okay. So how would we do that? Do we remember enough from the stuff this week, or do we want to look this up?
I remember.
All right, let's try it.
So if you right-click in Assets again in Project, and then hover over Create, you can click C# script. And if you click that, this should open, and then you can name it like player properties maybe. Because if we want this to move, we might also have this do other stuff.
There's a T missing in there. I mean, the T needs to be an R right there. And okay, so player properties. So I think your suggestion is you're thinking, well, we could just call it player movement, but we might want to put more things in it for the player.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've got a script. This is going to be where we're going to put our code to get this thing to move.
And then, sorry. If you right-click this, or it should be showing up. Wait.
Do we need to drag it and put it on something?
Yeah, we can. But I think if we should just. I'm opening it right now in Visual Studio.
All right.
This will take a second.
Now, the first time we do it, there's a startup time for Visual Studio.
Yeah. While we're waiting, we drag player properties? It's not working.
Oh, because it's maybe in the process of starting that up.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries, but I like your approach to this, where you're like, Eli's now following.
Okay.
All right, while that runs, what's this? Mystic Soda says, man, I wish I was this good at Campbell's age. Nice, Mystic Soda. Well, to be honest, Campbell is just starting out. He's just starting to learn. And I thought, oh, this is so good, right? To kind of document this, to have this out here, because he's bringing a perspective. I told him this morning, I said, look, you're the most valuable person on this show because you're bringing a perspective of somebody totally new to the environment, right? Surly Deb says, I wish computers were this good when I was Campbell's age. That's so funny. Yeah, I totally agree with that too, Surly Deb. That would have been awesome. All right, so what's happening now? Okay, we're loading up Visual Studio now. So the first time that loads up, it takes a while, but in our practice, and this again, the Campbell's machine is not a fast machine right now. but in our practice, the second time is much faster. Is that right?
Yeah, because if you open another script in the project, it's like adding another tab in Google Chrome. It will open super quick.
Yeah, it opens super quickly. All right. So Visual Studio is where we're going to write some code, and the language we're going to use is
C#.
C#. And here we go. Now,
Okay.
everybody, so if this is the first time you're seeing code, congratulations. This is the best place to see it because you're on Campbell's show, and Campbell's going to tell you what he knows about it, what he's learned a little bit. You want to tell us what you know so far about this, Campbell?
In this starting page, this code should be given to you by Unity. And using system collection, I haven't quite used these two yet. These using system collection.
Okay, so we're not sure what's going on with those two at the
But
top.
then-
Notice they're kind of grayed out a little bit anyway, so it seems like maybe they're not that important.
And then using Unity engine, this is basically telling you we're using like the physics, I guess, of Unity.
Yeah, so the using up there basically says, here's kind of the word is library that programmers use. Here's the library that contains all the things that you're going to need for doing Unity games. So that using Unity engine line right up there in line 3, that's basically saying we're going to build Unity games. And then line 5. Now look at line 5. It starts with the word public. What do you know about the word public, Campbell?
Public means that we'll see it in Unity. Everyone will.
And we can see it from other places.
Yes.
Right? We could also make it private. And that would mean nobody could see it. Right? We can make some things private, or we can make things internal, which means they can only be seen inside that library that you built. And looks like looks like the class name got the PT in it.
Oh.
By mistake. Let's do a rename on this.
Yes.
So we're gonna.
So I think this light bulb is CodeRush, right?
Yeah, that's CodeRush and Visual
CodeRush.
Studio right there.
Okay. So with player properties, what you can do is this light bulb, click it, and it will show you quick actions. And then rename, but we're gonna do
Rename type to match file. Do the one just below it. And then that will fix that. If you're not seeing this menu, one of the things here, let me switch back over to my machine here, kids. I'll show you how to get a copy of CodeRush right now. So you can get a free trial if you go to devexpress.com/CodeRush like this. And this is going to install inside of that community edition of Visual Studio. Choose a free 30-day trial, and then I'll let you know how you can turn that into a fully paid version of CodeRush that you don't have to buy, that'll last you a whole year. Okay? So free 30-day trial right there, that's your download, run through that install process, and then you'll be able to do some of the things that Campbell is going to be showing you to help him write code faster. All right, so did you go ahead and click rename to match file, type to match file? Are you doing it?
Yep, I clicked it.
Try again.
If this doesn't work, we might just
All right, do rename.
rename. And now, whatever changes we make here will be applied to the file name and in Unity
Okay,
what the script is.
click apply or hit enter. One of those two options should work, I think. Yeah, if you're a higher end developer and you're seeing this, you're like, wait, I've never seen that before. That's kind of gives you a sense of how fast Campbell's machine is. Yeah, that's interesting that came with the BT because you renamed it before you generated it.
That's true.
Yeah, I think when you're renaming it the first time, it sets up these names, and then when you rename it a second time, it does not change it. So this is interesting. I wonder if this is related to the other issue before, computing rename information. I wonder if there's a problem renaming this.
Yeah, it hasn't showed up before, even with this machine.
Mystic Soda suggests that C Control R plus R followed by R renames as well.
Oh.
So there's a shortcut. We can try that next time. I'm actually thinking let's hit cancel on this. I feel like that we've maybe found an issue with between Unity and Visual Studio. What is this? We're activating the remote language server. Okay, go ahead and hit close on this right here. That X right up there, and let's try just manually changing that PT to an R. I want to see if this works. And it almost is like we might want to try one more time if this fails, but let's try this right now. So let's save it. And let's do this. Can we just do a debug line in our start,
Yeah.
Campbell? So we were talking about what the different pieces of this are. So actually, let's look at the pieces here. So line 5 says starts with the word public. That means everybody can see it. The next word is the word class. Can you highlight the word class as I say it, things as I say them, Campbell? So the next word is class. And class is... it's kind of something that says, it's kind of like I'm going to use the metaphor or the story that is used when we teach programmers that's not too bad. It's a cookie cutter. It determines the shape of the cookie, right? And so a class determines the shape of the thing we're going to build, right? Or the behavior, that sort of thing. So what's in the code, what we write here, it just determines the shape, but when this thing is alive and running in your program, it doesn't look like this, but it looks like but it can do the things that we say this can do.
Yeah.
So there's the class. The class starts, well, I guess it's called player properties, so that's what we named it. That's the next word. The third word is the name. Then it's got a colon off to it. That colon means that this class inherits from another class. Inherits means it's got all of its abilities. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, my name is Mark, and I have a streaming setup that makes it easy to stream. And Campbell is a descendant of Mark, so he's a class that descends from Mark. We put a big colon between us with 2 dots here and here. If we were writing it in C#, Campbell descends from Mark, and he inherits Mark's ability to stream.
Yeah.
Right? So anything mono behavior can do, player properties can do as well. That's generally true. Okay? So that's what's going on. And mono behavior might descend from other objects as well. There might be a whole hierarchy of parents. But unlike children that have 2 parents in the real world, classes generally only have 1.
Yeah.
Only 1 in most languages. Okay. Line 6 is actually pretty important. Line 6 says this is the beginning of the class.
Yes, and then line 18 is the end of the class.
And notice that Visual Studio is drawing those little dotted lines right there between the two.
Which means, and those dotted lines are just basically telling you you're in public class player properties. Yes,
everything inside that class is part of the class. Now, what's on line 7, Campbell? What's going on line 7?
On line 7, this is a comment. And you can tell it's a comment because of these 2 forward slashes here. And these 2 forward slashes mean that this won't be, this isn't really part of the code. It's just telling you something that you might need to know to make the code more understandable.
Yeah, so this is a way to communicate to yourself and other developers, maybe some important information.
So this one's telling us start is called before the first frame update, which means at the very beginning of the game, this method will be called.
And so a method is something that the class can do. It's a thing the class can do. Like when you're cooking, you've got different methods that you use, Campbell. Like you've got sautéing, measuring ingredients, looking up a recipe. Those are methods. Those are things you can do. So we call these methods. And this method starts with the word void. I'll explain that in a second. The next word is start. That's the name of this method.
Yes, which means, like they said up here, start is called before the first frame update.
Right. Now, if you look down on line 14, there's another method down there too, and that method is called what?
Void update.
It's called update.
And up here, it tells us that update is called once per frame.
All right. So we're getting a little bit of information. Now, to the right of the word start and the right of the word update, there are two parens. That means that is the space for declaring what parameters the method takes. We'll talk about parameters later, but it's kind of the idea that let's say you've got a method for measuring ingredients, right? As a person, Campbell, you can measure ingredients. One of your parameters to that method might be the ingredient you want to measure. And the other parameter might be the amount of that ingredient you need, like 1/2 of a cup.
Okay.
So I might say flour, 1/2 a cup as the parameters, and you will measure those and give me back 1/2 a cup of flour, right?
Okay.
That's what you can do as a person. Parameters allow us to give additional information to the method so that it can do what it does with those additional things. But these don't have any parameters. And then on line 9, just like we saw above on line 6, it starts, this time it doesn't start the class, but it starts the method. And then
With a
down on
breath.
line 11, it ends the method.
Yes, and then there are these dots right here, which
Right.
means it's inside of the method start.
Right, so now you're in the start method. What is the start method going to do when it's called?
Whatever we put in.
What about
these
right now?
parentheses. Nothing.
It'll do absolutely nothing because there's no code here. We can do add something called a debug line. Should we start with that?
Yeah, why not?
And let's, go ahead.
A debug log, and then there are one of the methods that we can use is debug. It's a method, right?
Yeah, it's a call is what it is.
Yeah. Debug.
Why don't you write it? Write it and explain it maybe, because then so people can visualize it while you're talking about it.
Debug.log.
Don't forget, I think we added a template in CodeRush
We
to
did.
do DL to make this easier. All right, you can do it this way too.
Yeah, I just wanted to show them how to write it, or how it.
Good. All right, so there's debug log.
Is it that?
No, I think you were right before. I think hover the mouse over and see what that red squiggly line means. I think it's going to tell you that you need to send it.
Oh, we have
It
to
says
give
no overload, takes 0 arguments. It needs at least 1. See up there? If you go back and bring that up again, see where it says object message right there at the top?
Yeah.
Hover the mouse over object message, just to the right of that. There. That says that we got to send it some sort of object. And it can be
Yeah.
a message like a string or something like that. Let's send it a string.
Okay. And a string, it just says something. It's like a comment basically, but you can see it. You can see it in like the console.
Eli says, if you know Camel, he's always wearing a swimsuit.
I am.
He likes to swim. He likes to be ready. All right, so we want to send a message out. We want to send it out as text message. How do we do that?
A string, you just put 2 parentheses.
Two
And
quotes.
then-
2 quotes on the
Yeah,
outside
2
of it,
quotes,
right?
not parentheses.
Yeah.
And then you can write whatever you want.
Jenny Scoot 7, where
Oh,
are
Jenny
you?
Scoot 7's here, Campbell. We need your help, Jenny Scoot 7.
Oh,
Jenny Scoot 7 has arrived. Blood is on our faces. Look out!
here. I am.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jenny Scoot 7, for showing up. Back over to Campbell's machine. He's typing in hi. Okay, cool.
Or anything else you want.
Or anything you want in those quotes. Notice that red squiggles went away as soon as you put the quotes inside there.
Yeah.
So it was telling you not that you got the case wrong or that you got the name wrong, but it was telling you that the parameters weren't right. But now it looks good.
Yes. And
You asked if this was a method, and it is. It's a method on the debug class. So if you look at the word debug right there on line 10, that's a reference to the debug class. Then the dot says I'm going to call a method inside it.
Okay.
So that's what's going on there. The dot is how we qualify where we're going. So I could have a much longer line. It could say debug dot, console dot processor dot log or something like that, right? We can do this kind of dot delimited dance where we keep putting the pieces we want for really long if we want to, if it calls for that.
And then another thing you might want to do, or you do want to do with Visual Studio, is if you look at right here, that kind of star.
That's exactly what I meant, Mystic Soda. If I didn't say that, that's what I meant. Debug is the class, and log is the method of the debug class.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Campbell?
If you look, it's like right above my cursor. It's like a little star. That means that we haven't saved this code yet. So
Right up there next to player properties CS.
Yes.
Right up there. You can also point, Campbell, by the way, just like I'm pointing.
All the way
but
up there.
Get your finger on screen. There it is, right there. Cool. All right, cool. So let's save it.
that
We need to
means
save
that
it.
It's not saved.
If it's
And-
not saved, it doesn't know we've added this code yet, or it doesn't know what changes since our last save, right? Oh, look!
Trash.
Grobosaurus! And Oscar the trash. Oh, no! You can't do that on the kid show! Grobosaurus just came in. I'm sure he's fine. He probably went away. He's good. All right, back to Campbell's machine.
Okay.
All right.
So one way you can save it is by doing Control S, and you see that little star went away. Another way you can save it is by doing right here,
Clicking up
save
there,
assets,
the button at the
clicking
very
it,
top.
or this button, save
Yeah.
all. This saves, like, if you have multiple scripts here, it will save all of the scripts.
All right, cool. I like it.
Okay.
All right, can we test this and see if it works?
Yeah, now if we go back to Unity.
Normally, my confidence would be high that this worked, but because that rename thing was going on, I'm not so sure anymore. Do we need to take this? Did we take this script and attach it to anything in the game yet?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Sorry.
so this may not. We may want to
Yeah.
try that first because we may not see anything.
I
By the way,
forgot to.
Campbell, look, notice next to the tab next to the project where I'm pointing there is the console. That's where
So-
we're going to see this message if it works.
Yes.
Okay,
We want to apply it to the capsule, right?
sure. I think
Or-
you can apply it to anything in the
That's
game and it
true.
would work.
Because with all of the objects.
But the
it works.
capsule's our player. Can we rename that to the player?
Oh, yeah. And if you want to rename it, you can just click it once and then click it again, but not like boo boo, like boom, boom. Player. And if we click on player
By the way, my
and then scroll
co-host
down,
I'm sorry, Campbell, my co-host from the regular stream that I do during the week, Rory Becker, is here. And
Hello,
he was
Rory.
answering a question that somebody had asked out there in the chat room. And Surly Dev says, "Hey, it's old Rory," or as he's now known, Legacy Campbell, meaning old Campbell. So anyway, that's Rory out there. He's out there in the chat room right now, helping us out. Thanks so much, Rory. Appreciate that. Great to see you here.
if you click on player, you will see, and then scroll down, one of the properties, I guess. Not properties. One of the things here is the player properties.
These are
script.
components, right? All the main pieces are components, right? Player properties is a component because we got it by hitting add component, I think, right? Rigid
Yeah.
body is a component. But then within each of those components, there are properties. Like if you look up at rigid body, the first property up there is mass, right?
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. Scroll it down next to me so I can point right at it, if you can, Campbell. Yeah, right there. He's got the caret up in mass right there. So there's mass for rigid body.
And then drag, angular drag.
Those kinds of
We haven't
things.
quite experienced.
We're not sure what those are
experimented.
yet.
Yes. But
Okay.
then you will see this right here. And this doesn't really matter right now, but we can make it so that it doesn't exist or it isn't applied to the player or reset any of these things.
Hold on one second, Campbell. Rory asked, if I'm not a presenter and I show up enough, do I get a fanfare? And the answer is yes. You get a fanfare.
And then another thing, if you want to remove one of the components, you just click the 3 dots and then remove component.
Rory's got some advice for you. He's been my co-host for a while. He says, Campbell, make sure you keep your dad in line.
Okay.
Can you do that, please, Campbell?
Yes, I can.
All right, so
Let's try it.
so we've got the players. So look, there it is right there. Player properties.
Yes.
That's it.
This
That's
is
the
it
script.
Right here.
It's in the player, which was the capsule, right? We originally dropped as a capsule. Campbell renamed it to player. We dropped it on. Let's run and see if we see anything in console.
Play. We do. Hi.
Did it work? Nice.
Yep.
There it is right there. We've got the hi message right there in the console. Notice it tells us the time.
Up here. The time that it was.
Yeah, the time message. And also underneath it says unity.debug.log. I think that's telling us that it was a call into the Unity engine debug log. And I think the reason it's telling us that is because maybe there might be other sources for the log messages. I don't know. It doesn't seem like very useful information. I'd rather just see the word hi. And then if
Yeah.
I hovered over it, I could see those. There may be options for this too. I don't know, for the console. But I would like it. Oh, look, right below, Campbell. I just didn't notice this. It says hi right there on its own line as well. You see?
Oh,
this?
yeah, right here.
Yeah, right there. Kind of interesting.
And right, yeah, here too. It shows
Yeah.
it in 3 places. Right here, up here, and down here. Okay.
Oh, I didn't see it all the way down. There's a there's
the
it's
speaker,
being blocked by the speakers.
but
Let me see if I can. Can't really hide that without having consequence. So I'm not going to hide it, but it's right in the bottom as well.
yeah, it's
Okay.
right there. If you look right here, right next to the speaker, it's this. There's an exclamation point within a speech
And
bubble.
it's got the word "hi" right there.
And then right next to it.
If you can, if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can normalize the window size, and then we would be able to see it if you ever want to show those kinds of things. You don't have to do that now, but it's something that we can do.
Yeah, oopsies.
Okay, so now we've got a hi message coming out. Now, how are we going to make this thing move?
We can add a force to it in the Z direction.
Okay, can we try something? Can we go into the script code for that?
So we can-
Does it make sense? Can we just try like adding force just like on this line right here and start? So we start the game and we just give it? Or no, well, let's do it in update. Let's go ahead and do it in update.
Oh, and then since we're messing with physics a little bit here,
Yeah.
what you can do to make it easier on Unity is change this to fixed update.
Oh, okay. So update is called once per frame, but fixed update is called once ever before or after, right after, but every time the physics are updated.
Yes.
The reason fixed update is more important than update for movement is that is because physics are actually calculated more times than we draw most often.
Mm-hmm.
So physics calculations might happen 100 times a second, but drawing the screen might happen 30 times a second or 60
Yeah.
times a second. In fact, as I recall, Campbell, they advise us to use the update method to figure out if a button is pressed,
Oh yeah.
and the fixed update to react to the button being pressed. Do you want to try that, or do you just want to do something simple here right now?
Yeah, let's do something simple with the fixed update just to make it go forward.
Okay.
And then after we can maybe
All right. So
use update and fixed update.
how are we going to move it? How are we going to move this thing? Do you remember what we need?
No, I don't. But
Let's
in
go over
our
to
other-
Unity. Let's go over to Unity a second. Let's go look at Unity a second. And let's
Oh
look
wait,
at.
no, I do remember. We need a float, a public float. A public float is a number, and it can be with decimals or it can be a whole number.
That's going to be how much but we need to move something, and I think we need, is it a rigid body that we need? We need some reference to something so that we can move it. Isn't that true or no?
No, I think you're thinking of when we collide.
Oh, okay, you might be
the
right with
rigid
something
body.
else. Okay, I think you're right then. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. Over here, and then for
So do we then that means we probably have a property called, what is it? Is it, how do we apply force? We apply force to something.
yeah, oh, I forget, but it's in our other script.
All right, so here's what you do if you don't know or if you forget. So I'm going to switch over to my machine over here.
Okay.
I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go type in Unity and C#, and I'm going to say apply force, because we want to apply a force to it. It says rigid body.add force is what it is.
Yeah, that's it.
It says.
We have to make another public class, I think.
Now look at what they're doing. They are actually grabbing, can you see my screen, Campbell?
Yeah.
They are saying public rigid body. So they've got
Yeah, that's what we have to do.
both of these. So we'll do a rigid body,
And
then we'll add the force to it like that. That's
Yeah,
what
I
we're gonna do.
remembered, or I see it now.
Okay, back to Campbell.
So this was our line of code, and this is what we did with the public rigid body. So I'm
This
just
is
gonna copy
this is
that.
your other game, is that right?
Yeah, this is the first game.
Okay, so you're gonna copy that.
Yeah, and
Cool.
then we can put it just for the for if we want to add a public class or float or anything, we have to do it at the beginning of the code. Or not at the beginning of the code, at the beginning of the public class.
That's a great place to put it. At line 7, you can actually put it anywhere inside the class as long as it's not inside of a method. So we're just going to create this here. We're creating something. The word public, we've already seen that before. That means it can be seen. Rigid body, can you double click on rigid body for me, Campbell, and then switch over to Unity? So rigid body, that keyword, go over to Unity now.
And then?
Can you switch over to Unity?
Yes, when we're in Unity.
It's that guy right there. It's
here.
that component. So what happens is we're going to set something up that can modify rigid body. All right, go back to the code.
Yeah, and then...
And then RB, what's the RB?
RB is just, if we ever want to reference the rigid body, we can just do RB.
Yeah, so that's going to be the variable we're going to use internally.
Yes.
I actually get kind of nervous when I see just 2-letter variable names or 1-letter variable names. Can we change this to something like rigid body?
Okay.
Or player rigid body or player body, something like that?
Rigid body.
Okay, so that's the new name. Let's copy that a second.
Rigid body?
Yeah, just copy that. And let's go into fix update, and let's just try adding, paste that in and then do a dot. And I think there's an add force call.
Wait. Add explosion force and add force.
Let's do add force.
Vector 3?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just.
And let's type in transform.
Oh wait, no, it's lowercase. This one.
Yeah. Transform. Yeah. Hit enter. That's one of our properties. Wait, stop right there. See that little wrench next to the word transform at the top that's highlighted?
Yeah.
That means that's a property. See the icon right below it?
Uh-huh.
That means it's a class. And see go down one more. See those 2 rectangles? That means that it's a field. Okay?
What does this one do?
That means it's an enumeration. An enumeration means one of several possibilities. The simplest enumeration you already know is Boolean. That can be true or false.
Yeah.
But there are other enumerations, like it might be favorite ice cream flavors. And the elements of that, the choices might be chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry. When you see an enumeration, it's like multiple choice. It can only be one of those values.
I was thinking, does that like exist the other day? Like where you can have multiple things instead of just a Boolean where you can only have 2?
Absolutely, and it's often the better way to go than just a Boolean.
Yeah, because
right?
then if you ever want to, you can add more.
Yes,
to it.
exactly.
Control.
Exactly, that's the
That's
benefit.
transform.
All right, so transform, type a dot, and now let's
Position.
get there's a position. I think there's a forward. Look at the forward.
Forward.
I think this is going to give us that's going to give us a value
In the
of
Z direction.
a 3-dimensional vector in the forward direction. So go ahead and choose that, and now multiply this by, like, say 10.
Times. Oh, oopsies. Times 10.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Hit a semicolon, and this is a code rush feature. We'll take it out to the end so you can be inside and hit a semicolon, I think.
Yeah.
And there it is, jumps to the end. Let's run it now. Save and run. Remember, it's got that asterisk to the end. There we go. Let's run it and see if we can actually. It may. I don't know how far. If it's just going to go crazy or if it's going to go really slowly.
I think it's gonna go really quickly.
Did you hit the run button?
Yeah.
We're multiplying by 10, and it's doing it every time it updates with the physics engine.
Oh, don't we have to multiply it by time.delta time?
Yeah, you can do that, but I wanted to just start it out. Is it running? Is it moving? It does not look like it's moving
Nope.
at all. Oh,
Nope.
we've got to. Oh, we didn't assign the rigid body
Oh,
property.
right.
Okay, so go to the code. Let's show the code, the piece that we didn't do.
This is the piece that we didn't do right here.
Yeah, show the code though first, so we can
the
see that.
Code.
Yeah, Surly Dev makes a really good point. We're going to see that word Z every once in a while when we talk about Z direction. Z, 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 Z. It's arguably better than Z. All right, so we created a field. What line of code is our field on, Campbell?
Number 7.
Line 7. There's our field.
And we made a
It's-
public rigid body, but we forgot to assign a rigid body.
Right,
to it.
we called it rigid body. By the way, take that rigid body right there. See that, the second one? Not the first one, but the second one, the one on the right. That's the name of it. That's what we called it.
Yeah.
So take a look at, if we go back over to Unity now, look at that property field. I want to show you that in Unity.
And now we'll see this rigid body
See what they've done? Rigid body has put a space there for us.
because it's camel cased.
Yeah.
Which a camel cased means, if you don't know, it's a capital letter for each word in. You do one word, but each word in it is capital. The first letter is capital R.
Right. So let's go back. I want to change the code and see if this changes. Can we change that to call it rigid player body or rigid or player
rigid body?
player rigid body? Change it in some way. And so when Campbell was talking about camel case, this is an example of that. What is sometimes called camel case, where the start of every word has an uppercase letter. Player rigid body. And the reason for that is in code, you can't use spaces. You use spaces between the pieces, the tokens in the code,
But not between.
but not
names.
inside the tokens. So now, wait, one thing changed when you did this. We just typed that in. We didn't use the rename feature. But
Oh,
look at what
oopsies.
changed on line 17.
Yeah, we have to change this to player rigid body too.
Perfect. All right, save it, and now let's see if it's updated in Unity. And you're gonna see something really kind of exciting and cool. So line 7 is really important. Look at line 7, then when we switch to Unity, let's see what happens.
We should see it reload, and then when we scroll down, player rigid body.
Look at this. This is so cool. Now watch what we can do. I think we can drag that rigid body up there and put it right on
Yeah,
it.
we can drag it, or if we want to.
Is that true?
Yeah. Or if we want to use a rigid body of something else, we can click this dot right here, this like target.
Uh-huh.
But since player is the only thing with a rigid body, it's the only
It's the only
that
one
shows
selected. Can you move that down? That anything that shows up there in the
Oopsies.
upper.
Yep,
All right,
sorry,
cool.
yeah.
So we just click that and then move it down so we can see it. We get the select rigid body piece. Up.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And then since this is it automatically gives it the rigid body of the player. Okay.
Yes. And so now if we run, we might see it move.
We should probably
gonna-
go forward.
Yeah, and we get rid of all these null reference exceptions that are showing up over here. There's the high, and
What? Uh-oh, it fell down because the forward force is on the middle.
the
So
forward
now-
force is relative to its transform, so now it's pushing it down into the ground. Is that right?
Yeah, now it is.
Can we change this player to a cube?
Yeah, we easily can actually. Here, this I learned with the in capsule mesh filter.
Yeah.
You can also click this dot and then make it into a cube,
Okay.
and then hit enter.
Okay. And what about this capsule collider thing here? Do we need
Oh,
that
yeah.
still?
With a capsule collider, this will make it collide like it's this will make it interact with and everything like it's a capsule. So let's just no, let's change it. Blech, sorry.
No worries. You can probably remove it and then add a new component,
Yeah,
right?
we can remove components.
Remove that and then add a cube
oh wait, I
collider
want
to
to
it.
show you something. If we have no collider, it will just fall through.
If it uses gravity. It does use gravity. So you're playing
Yeah.
the game right now. There it is. We have
It
no
should
collider.
Just fall through.
And
See?
yeah, there it is. It just went right
And
out of
it's-
it.
The forward force is working.
Oh, you're right. It was.
'Cause
The forward
it was
force
going
was
like
working. Right? It moved forward as it dropped. So that's good news. All right.
Box.
Box collider. All right, cool. So now we've got a box collider. Oh, cool. You can specify the center of it too. That's kind of cool. That's like its center of gravity, I think. So let's see what happens now. Is it going to keep moving? Wouldn't that
Yeah,
be cool?
it should go forward. Oh, but there is friction, so it should go kind of slow. Or it should flip, yeah.
It doesn't. It didn't flip, and it maybe there's not enough force.
Yeah, no, because we only started first. But if we want to, we can do, if we want to have the floor have no friction,
Mm-hmm.
we can do create, and then go down to here, physics material, click that.
This
and
is
then
that thing
rename
Campbell
this
learned and
to
I haven't learned yet. This is so cool.
Slippery, I guess. Like,
Now what's happening? Where are you? Where's the mouse? Oh, you're calling it slippery right there. Okay.
yes. And then what we can do is with this, since we want it to have no friction, we can change this to 0
Yeah.
and this also to 0. And then friction combined, what you can do is make this minimum.
Minimum. Do you see that you've got the word bounciness up there?
Yeah.
You can make something bouncy.
Wait, I kind of want to just try this. Like, let's make it. So now it should bounce off. Actually, yeah, let's just do it.
All right, we'll see if it bounces. That's awesome. All right. Janiscu 7 points out when Mark is learning. This is what it looks like.
Okay. Huh? It didn't bounce.
Did you apply slippery to the floor?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's the thing.
That's cool.
Oh, wait. I think it's maximum. Yeah.
Oh,
you
might
can
have
only
it goes from 0 to 1. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So it's kind of like a percentage, but which
Cube.
goes from 0 to 1.
Okay, now in the cube we should see slippery. Yeah, right here.
So Eli says, I'm guessing that the code for not falling through is something like when you touch the ground, move up. But this is the cool thing about Unity is that we actually didn't have to do that. We just added a box collider, and there was no code for that.
Yeah.
So we just dropped that over
So now
there.
when it, I think the code is a little something like when you hit the floor, not stop using gravity, but interact with the floor, like stop.
But we don't have to write that code, though.
Yeah,
You're right?
it's automatically in Unity.
Yeah. All right, so can we run the game and see if this change works? You drag slippery over to the box collider.
Yeah.
Interesting. And
Or
that's on the...
I just dragged it onto the cube,
on-
and that came up here.
Oh, okay. And what... And,
Yeah, it bounced.
and look at it take off. And
Yeah.
it bounced, too.
We
All
should
right.
probably make it with not as much force.
Okay, so here's what we're doing. We're doing fixed update, and every time we are multiplying it by some value
Times.
and moving it forward. Now, one of the things that we saw that was super cool, line 7 was super cool. We added a public field up there on line 7, a public variable, right? A variable is like a box that can hold something, and it has a name, right? So that player rigid body, that's its name, and it can hold something. And the thing it can hold is that word to the left of it, the rigid body, right? Between the words public and player rigid body. So it can hold a rigid body. We can also create something that holds a float. Can you,
Yeah.
Kimball, create a float that's going to be our forward speed?
Public float. A float is it's a number, and it, again, like I said, it can be, oh wait, yeah, we have to give it a name. It's forward force, maybe. Forward force.
Retro CRT says, that's the same voice I use when my code works. I think that was our voice when we were like, whoa. Okay, so we're gonna call it forward force. What do we have to end every C# statement with?
With a semicolon.
Semicolon. So this is like a declaration or a statement needs to end with a semicolon.
And a float is a number, an integer or a whole number. It doesn't matter.
All
But
right.
you can also make a public int, which is an integer, and that means it has to be a whole number.
Whole number, right, an integer. All right, so we've got something called forward force. Can we use it down here in our fixed update?
Yeah, but I think first we have to set it equal to something because it's a float.
Okay.
So equal to, let's do maybe 200.
And do you want to make it, I think you have to put the word, do you have to put the word letter F there after it or no? Is it okay? I guess
No,
it's okay.
it's okay, but if it's an integer in a float, you do have to put the number F after it. It's actually a pretty good practice just to put that.
Put the F there?
After.
Okay, so F means it's a float. All right.
And now what we should be able to do is in Unity, we will be able to adjust the forward force.
Okay, and then we want to do something with that. And so we're going to change the code down here to say, instead of saying forward times 10, we're going to say forward times what?
Forward force.
Okay. Before the number was 10, and Campbell set the default to 200, so that thing should just take off.
Oopsies. Wait. Sorry, I'm used to something totally different.
Well, I think you're thinking about what happens when we multiply by delta time.
Yeah,
You're expecting it to be something similar to that, but we have not yet done or talked about the delta time yet.
we'll do it with maybe,
2?
yeah.
Okay.
Or,
All right, let's do that.
okay. Control S.
Control S to save. Switch over to Unity. And run.
Okay. Should start soon. Yeah.
Nice. We got force. What do you want to do next?
Let's have the camera follow it.
Okay. So we want the camera to follow the block now. How do you think we should do that, Campbell? What do you think we need to do?
Probably a new script.
Okay. So this will be the script for the camera. So
Yes.
camera behavior maybe, or you were calling it player properties. You might want to call it camera properties if you want. What do you want to call it? Camera
Let's
code?
do properties.
Okay. All right. And do we need to drag that onto the camera? Is it a good practice to do that now, or is it okay to do that later? Does it matter? Do you have any ideas? on
I
that?
think we should do it later. But
Okay. All right. So let's go open up camera properties.
oh wait, oopsies.
So what do we need for camera properties to move it?
We have to.
We need to attach something to it, right?
Oh yeah, we have to make the camera We have to make the camera position equal to the player position, and then back a little bit and maybe up a little bit.
So what component in the inspector holds position? Click on player and let's look. Click on
It's
player.
not a vector 3, is it?
No, I'm not asking for the type. What
Oh,
component?
transform.
The component.
Oh yeah, so we would have to make a new transform, and then
We need a property of type transform,
yes.
so we can drag the player onto the camera, onto
Yeah.
its script or whatever, hook that up, and then the script will get it. All right, so now we have a sense of our direction. So, and we are getting the sense of direction by looking at the inspector. So we're saying we want to change the position of the camera, and we want to base it on the position of the player. So we're going to work with the transform, just like we, can you scroll up right over here so you can see the player properties? Right here. So just like we added the player rigid body piece up there to that script, we're going to add to the script we just added, the camera properties, a transform property.
Yeah.
So we can hook up and get the transform from the player. That's what we're going to do. Hold on one second.
Oh, I forgot to open it up.
Rory says, hey, I got to go. Campbell, you're doing great. The channel, I just got a whole lot more awesome. That's from
Thank
Rory.
you, Rory.
Thank you, Rory. I agree.
Okay, we have to open this. Open.
He's awesome.
Okay.
Back to Campbell's machine right over here. All right, so Campbell's in the camera properties code.
Now we're gonna make a new public transform. So,
Surly says Rory is now off to find another stream to co-present. He is worried about his future. It could be all over. Rory.
public,
Okay, so what are we doing? We're doing public.
and then transform, because we want to get the position of it, and the position is held in transform.
Okay. And then what are we going to call this? We're following the player, so I
yeah,
would
so
suggest
the
having
player
the player,
position.
the word player be part of it. You want to call it player position?
Sure.
Cool. Okay, cool. I love it.
Position.
All right.
And then semicolon.
Okay, cool.
Now,
Doesn't the rigid body have a transform field property in it? Is Mystic Soda asking. Can we switch back and look at that?
does it?
Let's look at the rigid body. I didn't notice that, but maybe it does.
It might.
Rigid body is right there.
Yeah.
It does not. You open up constraints and info. I don't think constraints or info have anything in there. Yeah.
Oh, this is, you can freeze it in a certain direction. Oh, this is.
Yeah, the freeze, we haven't used those yet, but I love these. You can freeze it in one direction. So
Yeah.
it will only, for example, we could freeze in the Y position,
Oopsies.
and it would only stay at this height the whole time
Yeah.
if we wanted to. Kind of cool. So it's only like spinning and rotating, that sort of thing. All right.
Okay, now we should go back to the code.
All right.
And then in void update, we should probably make this void fixed update, right?
Yeah, I think fixed update because it's physics. And you don't have to, you can just, as a shortcut, Campbell, you don't have to say it's void update. You can just say in the update method.
Okay.
Now, I said I would talk about what void is. Actually, we don't need to really do it now, but void I'll just say it quickly. Void means this method does not return anything. And if it was going to return something, the word void would be replaced with some other word, like float or transform. All right, fixed update. What do we want to do here?
We're gonna do,
We want to change the camera's transform. We've already got a transform in camera,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we want to start with the transform. I think.
transform dot position, correct?
I don't know.
Wait, sorry.
Type it in and see what IntelliSense gives you.
Let me think for just a second.
You don't have to
doing-
remember. IntelliSense can help you solve it if you want. But I will also let you do.
How do we like set? Oh, we just write
I think
it.
we had to create a new vector 3, as I recall. But we want to say transform for sure.
Transform
Yep.
dot position
I think you're right. Equals.
equals.
And then we have to create a new vector 3. So type in the word new. And then if you want, I
Vector.
want a shortcut for vector 3, do a space.
V3.
Space, and then type in T for type and V3. This is something we added to CodeRush.
Enter.
And I'll show you how to do this
Oopsies.
in the space
There's the
afterwards.
space.
And then open paren and close paren, and then we want to take the X, Y, and Z here.
And then so 0. Wait. Oh wait. We're gonna take player position. It'll be and then dot X, correct?
I think you got to go to position first, it looks like. See, X doesn't exist, but
Oh, dot
position does.
position.
Yeah, because you've got, if we go back to that, can you go back and bring up hit the
Yeah.
dot again? So we bring it up.
Dot.
Just go back and hit the dot again one more time. Notice you've got position, rotation,
Forward.
and transform. Those three, position, rotation, and transform, correspond to the three properties that are listed in the transform in Unity. Remember, we saw
Yeah.
those? Okay, so you're going to go with position. So the player position, we're going to say the X. We're going
Dot.
to grab its X.
X,
Yeah, and then a comma.
comma.
You might want to copy player position dot position to the clipboard so you can get
Yeah,
these
I
next
did.
ones
I
quickly.
already did.
Okay, great.
Control V.
And this is going to
Dot.
be dot Y.
Position dot Y.
You might want to copy all that to the clipboard. Player position dot position is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Also, you can do, one other thing you might be able to do. Try just selecting the letter Y. Wait, I want to show you something because CodeRush is installed. Select just the letter Y and hit Shift Enter.
Shift enter.
Yeah. Nope, it didn't do it. All right, select, go back, hit undo.
Oh wait, no, it did.
Yeah, no, I wanted it to take the whole thing. So select that whole thing. You can hit Control W to increase your selection. And now hit Shift Enter. Try that.
Shift enter. Yeah.
And there you go. Now it got
It's
the Z for you.
Yep.
So we do just this. The camera's going to be inside the cube.
And so we want the Z. We want the camera to be a little bit behind the
Right, behind the player.
yeah.
So you're going to say plus or
Minus?
minus something here.
I think it's minus.
Okay. If it's not, it's going to be plus. That's the cool thing.
Yeah.
We try it once.
Minus 5 maybe.
Sure. Well, it's like 5 cubes, right? Because that thing is a cube, so about 5
that's
cubes
true.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
so
do
minus 5. Do we want to lift the height up at all?
Yeah, I think we should add height.
Or, you know what we could do? We could keep the camera's height. Wait. Instead of doing this, let's take it from the camera's height. Instead of using player position dot position Y, let's use the camera's position Y. Do you know how to do that?
Wait, I don't quite follow.
I want the camera to use its own Y position. In other words, never change it. So whatever height we set it at the start of the game, it's always going to be that height behind relative to the player.
Oh. Okay, I think I get it.
So I want to. So hit selection increase for me. A second here. I'm going to show you something.
Control W.
This is the argument. You're in argument number 2, which is the Y position.
Yes.
I want to replace this with the already Y position of the camera. Do you know where that is? Do you know what variable I would use or what I would type in to get the Y positions for this camera?
Is it transform position.y?
Yes, it's exactly it. Good job. So just replace the player position so you don't have to type the whole thing or whatever. Go ahead. It's okay. IntelliSense will help you. So hit a dot here.
Transform.
If you hit dot here, look what's suggesting for you. Position. Hit it. Yep. There you go. See how much faster that is?
Y.
There you go. Perfect. And then you need a semicolon at the end of the line. Don't forget that. See that little squiggly there?
Yeah. At the very end.
You should be able to hit semicolon there. Coder should be able to take it out and realize if you're inside there, Coder would be able to find that for you.
Yep.
And get it outside there for you.
Okay.
Okay, so there's our fixed update.
Now
We are going to
Control
follow it if we run right now, will it work?
Wait.
Code seems right.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, before,
Oh,
remember
no.
I asked?
No, because we have to drag the. We have to first of all apply this script to the camera and then
Right.
drag the player
Right.
to the player position.
It's easy to forget the dragging the script, isn't it? Would
Yeah.
you agree with that? So we were talking about best practices. Maybe it's a best practice as soon as we create a script to drag it on the thing we want to use so we
Yeah.
don't forget for testing.
Oh, and then right here we see the transform player position.
All right?
And so we should drag.
So we've got main
player
camera
right
selected.
here.
Now we're going to drag player into it, and now it's grabbed the transform for the player.
Yep. which
Sweet.
is
Now
the
I think we're
position.
gonna go with it. What's interesting is it may look like nothing is happening because we've got no blocks out there. Can we drop some blocks out there
Yeah.
in front of this thing, and maybe can we give them some properties so that it can like smash into them, like maybe no gravity, but rigid bodies.
Yeah.
Let's drop those now, and we'll end the show with that. What do you think,
Great.
Campbell? Is it a good
Yeah.
place to end the show? All right, cool.
That's good.
Eli's asking, hey guys, can you do animation on Unity? And the answer is yes, we
Yeah,
believe so.
I think
you
so.
can have animated elements like birds that flap their wings, that sort of thing. So what are you doing here? You're dropping a new
cube.
cube out there?
Yeah.
Okay. You want maybe to put 2 cubes stacked up or something like that? Does that make sense?
Sure. Okay. Let's make this a little smaller.
0.5. You're gonna cut it in half or something?
And then down.
I want to stack something up so we see it topple a little bit, is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
And I also
0.
think I want to change the side view so we can see more of the track in view.
Like this?
I like the side view. I thought the side view was cool, but I just want the track
Okay.
starting not at the middle of the scene, but to the side. I think you can right-click and drag or something. You can control
Wait.
drag in Unity. There's some way to move off to the side. Move the view. There it is. Move it the other way so I see more of the track.
Oh, okay.
That's what I want to see. And maybe, can you zoom in at all? Do you have ability to
Yeah.
zoom in? And just so we can see that as they crash down. I want to get that side view. So,
Now we can right click it, duplicate, and then move it up.
sweet. Let's do a bunch of these. Let's do it like 2 more times.
Okay.
And then we'll run it.
Okay.
And move it up.
Uh,
What's interesting is it looks like they're kind of going up by the size of the box almost, right? It looks like you're now your Y's at about 1. So you could just use the numbers here. The other one was maybe,
oh, that's true.
maybe, I don't know. And 1 more, and then move it up. And let's run. Let's see what happens. Do these have rigid bodies? They have box colliders.
Yes, they do.
Do they need a rigid body? I don't remember if they do or not. I'm
Yeah.
totally
they do.
blanking out on whether
Because
they.
they have a box collider, so we're just gonna stop once we hit them.
Oh,
We have to add a rigid body.
Yes, you're right. Rigid body.
But we should have done this before we duplicated it.
I'm
Then
with
we
you
have
on
to do
that.
it.
Well, we can delete the others and duplicate this one if you want, or just quickly add it. No gravity. Try this. Wait. Go back to 4. Cube 4. Can you right-click on your rigid body? copy component.
Oops, this copy component.
Now click on cube 3. Now shift click on cube 1. And now, so it should select from all
no,
of those.
Control click.
Control click? Okay, fine. And then now try somewhere pasting. Maybe here or over in the inspector. I think the inspector might work. You might try right-clicking on the inspector anywhere. Give a paste. Try inside the inspector somewhere. No menu there? How about here? Like in the box collider maybe, or on the title for the box collider, try a right-click. Nothing's working? Is your paste component? There it is. Paste component is new.
But then we would be replacing the box collider.
Nope. It's not.
Oh.
That's not what we copied. We copied the rigid body.
Okay.
See? All right, let's try running that now.
We should see maybe, I think, just the first one move, but...
I think we'll see them all fall. Nice. Look at that.
And we can still see them over here. Uh-oh.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Wait, I just want to check something.
We could do something where we stop the camera on a collision too. If you wanted to. But we can do that for the next show if you want.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that next show.
Yeah, Surly is saying, Surly says, hey, is there a way that we can duplicate all these using code instead?
Yes, I think so.
And let's do that next show. We'll learn about the for loop to drop a whole bunch of them in the air, and let gravity take hold of them and fall to the floor, something like that. So maybe we'll do something where every time you pass a certain distance, it'll drop a whole bunch of them down for you to smash through. And we might do something too where we stop the camera so you can see the smash as you take off, and then reattach the camera after a second or something like that. So the camera stops, so we see the boxes explode, and then the camera catches back up again. We can maybe play with that. Maybe not next show, but the show after we might do that. But yeah, that's what we're doing. So kids, we are working in Unity, working in C#. We're so glad you're here with us. Surly, thanks so much. Retro CRT, Eli, First Killer, Flave Creations, thanks for being out here with us today. Mystic Soda, 9 a.m. We really appreciate you being here. We're going to be here next week as well. We'll be coding and doing more on this. What are you doing right now, Campbell?
Oopsies.
I'm ending the show and you're writing more code.
Sorry,
What are you doing?
I just wanted to make it so that,
It's a little closer?
yeah.
Okay, you need an F there? Is that what you need
Oopsies.
maybe?
Yeah.
Is that why you're getting a squiggly line? I'm wondering. That was it. So it needs the F if you're working with floats. Go ahead and save it and run it.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up, on my machine, I'm going to bring up the ability to raid. We're going to raid and send you off to another channel that does some coding. At least that's what my plan right now to do. Let's see if we can find someone out here that might be good for the kids to go to.
Okay, now it should...
InstaFluff is great. Here, let me just show you. I'm sending you guys over to InstaFluff. He's an excellent developer and really, really great guy. So we'll send you to him. But Campbell, go ahead and show us now.
Okay.
And after that, we'll do the raid. And so you'll be watching InstaFluff's channel after this.
It's a little bit closer now, the camera.
The camera is? Oh, I see. Okay, cool. Nice. Nice. I love it. All right, kids, I'm starting up the raid. That raid's going to go in just a few seconds. We're here every
Goodbye.
Saturday, right, Campbell?
Yep.
We got a show. We did it
10. At 10 here.
at 10 o'clock. Well, 10 o'clock our time, and you'll see the time there. We'll see you later, kids.
Bye.